Well, the province is moving to ban speed cameras. CP24's Beatrice Vaisman joins us live with more on the Premier's announcement. Beatrice.
Bakari, the Premier making it quite clear in the title of the press release that his government put out. So this is about protecting taxpayers. The Premier in recent weeks has been calling these automated speed enforcement cameras like the one you see behind me here. This is a school zone in the Martin Grove and Silverstone area. We're just outside of a middle school. He says that essentially they are cash grabs and that municipalities are using them to essentially take advantage of taxpayers. That's what the Premier is alleging, to put more money in their coffers. The Premier today proposing utilizing old, tried and true methods of traffic calming, like speed bumps and signs and curb extensions. And so here's a bit of what we heard from Premier Doug Ford at this morning's announcement.
People are fed up. They're tired of getting tickets for 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers over. That no officer that I have ever met, and Mark can speak on this, no officer would ever give you a ticket for 5 or 6 kilometers over. Matter of fact, you'd never get pulled over if you're going 5 or 6 kilometers over.
So since 2019, when these speed cameras started to become implemented, some 700 of these cameras have been installed in 40 municipalities. Toronto was, by the way, the first one to ask for them under then Mayor John Tory. Legislation brought forward by then Transportation Minister Stephen Del Duca in the Wynne government, and the Ford government essentially moved to start implementing them in 2019. Well, now here we are in 2025. Certainly the Ford government's opinion of these cameras have changed. There are municipalities that have appealed to the Premier, hey, let's keep them at least in the school zones, because as we saw, a study from Sick Kids Hospital showed that these speed cameras reduced speeding in school zones where vulnerable children cross the street often by about half. Today, some mayors, including Vaughan's Mayor Stephen Del Duca, his municipality implementing these speed cameras and then ultimately suspending them several weeks ago after he says there was outcry from people who were getting ticket after ticket after ticket. Kitchener's Mayor, Barrie's Mayor, also standing behind the Premier with this decision to bring forward this legislation next month. Here's more.
People want speed enforcement, but prefer it from a real live officer. From the mother coming home at 11:30 from shift work to the older adult who has been driving for more than 50 years and got their first ticket unknowingly, the list goes on. Residents largely didn't believe they were learning a lesson. They were just getting angry, losing their faith in government, and having dollars taken from their pocketbooks.
So what is the timeline? The Ford government set to table this legislation in October. They've got a majority government, Bakari. In all likelihood, this is going to pass. Come November, that's when the province would ultimately start asking areas around school zones to have large new signs installed to slow down drivers by mid-November, with permanent large signs with flashing lights to be in place by September of next year. And by the way, for the many municipalities that have already invested in these speed cameras, like Toronto, the Premier is saying they will not be getting reimbursed by the province. So certainly a contentious issue. The city of Brampton, also one that says it has utilized these speed enforcement cameras properly, as they say, with a compromise, using them solely around school zones and areas where there are vulnerable people, not putting hundreds of them, just everywhere across the city. But certainly it's a talker, and we'll be hearing a lot of reaction as the afternoon goes on. Bakari.
All right, CP24's Beatrice Vaisman.